The Dingers podcast is on the air. I'm your host, Mitch. I'm here with my boys, Jake, Jeff, and Kevin. How are you guys tonight? And we got some big news, breaking news. Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Nico Hoerner is signed to a 3-year extension. Let's go.
Heck yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So breaking that down, that does not include this season. So they bought out 3 years, what was it, 35 million?
Yep.
And buys out his last 2 years of arbitration plus a year of free agency, which is huge. Buying out a year of free agency is a really big deal because he could get, I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, he'll be playing second base primarily for the next few seasons, but yeah, I mean, that's a little over, it's almost 12 million a year on the extension. I wonder if there are any incentives or anything worked in there that'll come out. But yeah, way to go, Jed.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited about two things with this. The first, they got an extension done. A little worried that they weren't going to do it. Way to go, guys. Way to go. The second, though, is they don't have to go through 2 more years of just crapping on a player during arbitration.
Yes.
And completely ruining that relationship. Maybe there's something more coming down the line.
Talked about it plenty of times on the
maybe they learned from their previous mistakes. I don't know.
Now let's get Ian signed up. Right? Let's go. Jed, keep that pen in your hand. Walk across the room. Hand it to Happer. Say, sign here. Let's do it. But what other news has been going on? Kevin, can you break down this week? Because it's been a little bit of like the last crazy 3 days.
It has been nuts. Just kind of crazy. I'm going to miss some things. There's some things that I just didn't bother because they were all minor leaguer stuff. But hey, first off, or in my order, Hayden Wesneski or Hayden Honey Weisneski or Hayden Brunowski, he was announced as the 5th starter. Yeah. Jeff, what do you think about that?
I love it. I mean, it was a really tight race between him and Assad, but either way, it's a win-win. Because I think Assad's going to piggyback fine off Wisniewski's starts. Both of them are going to chew up innings. So we get into that spot to where we got a beleaguered bullpen that needs a break. Hopefully it lands right there, and the Wisniewski and Assad can come in, and between the two of them, we get 9 innings out of them. Rest the bullpen and start fresh the next day. So I think it's just fabulous to have those 2 arms in our arsenal.
Yeah, you brought it up. Assad makes the bullpen. Jake, I was thinking about this when I heard the Assad announcement. Do you think he takes over that role that Keegan Thompson's had the last year or so of being that long form, multi-inning relief?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a given. I have a feeling we're going to kind of see when Thompson and Steele both came up, they were both Steele not for as long, but they both took on the long reliever role at one point. And so now in the bullpen, you've got Thompson, Alzolay, and Assad for the long reliever roles. And it's going to be interesting to see how they work them in, because I actually think we're going to get some depth from the starting rotation this season. I think that can be expected. I mentioned on a previous pod that Wesneski actually pitched the most innings of all of our starters last year. So I don't think that he'll be on an innings limit. That includes obviously the minor leagues. So I don't think he'll be on an innings limit. The thing that's going to be curious to see is whether they keep Assad in kind of a longer role than the other 2 guys, Thompson and Alzolay, so that he can swing into the rotation as necessary, because it's going to happen at some point in the season. And it'll depending on how rest works out and injuries play out, you'll probably see Assad fill in before someone like Caleb Killian got called up for a spot start. So I'm happy to have him. I think the added velocity is great. We could go on and on about the bullpen, but yeah, Assad is a really great addition this year.
Nice. I totally agree. Speaking of spot starts, Adrian Sampson was optioned to AAA. kind of as another part of this whole deal. And kind of, I think it was the same day or around the same day was when Wesneski threw a fastball 97 miles an hour. Mitch, do you think that's going to stay, or is that a fluke?
Straight gas. That's all he's going to be throwing all season long is straight gas and with a wicked frisbee slider.
Nice.
Count on it all day.
Count on it. All right. Sleeper pick for most strikeouts.
Definitely.
So Mike Tauchman was also sent out of big league camp. Perhaps that says something about Mr. Suzuki. Who knows? Luis Torrens gets to stay with the big league club, a catcher, corner infielder. When I was reading a little bit about him, I kept thinking of like PJ Higgins from the last couple of years as that guy who like steps in at first base every so often.
I think he has played some outfield too, like some corner outfield spots.
Is right. Better
maybe possibly move into right field if we need him. But yeah, it says a lot about like where Seiya is in his rehab. Like they must think that he's progressing pretty well. The BP they took the other day, I know he ended it with a dinger, so he must be feeling pretty good. But it is still interesting because he hasn't had really any live games to really test it.
Did you guys like not catch the game today?
I didn't.
So Sutcliffe touched on it, and apparently Seiya is like really, really close.
Nice.
So they're very positive. So maybe a month.
Like it.
Yeah.
I think I'm guessing even less than a month. I think it'll be the fact that they didn't open up a 40-man spot.
Yeah,
for another outfielder, I think says it all.
That says like less than 15 games, less like 10.
I was gonna say like 2.5 weeks. I mean, I think it's gonna be turned around relatively quickly.
But I think I was reading on Bleacher Nation or maybe an On Tap article talking about that at the beginning of the season they can backdate like 3 days of spring training on a 10-day IL stint. So if they do that, he could actually be back for the series after the Cubs go to the Reds that they go to first?
Yeah.
And then he can come in kind of that.
Speaking of On Tap, we're part of OnTapSportsNetwork.com. Go check out all the great articles that they have on the Cubs. They just hit on the reduced spring training roster that happened, the farm system. They're ranking our farm system all the way through to the top. They're in the top 10 right now. Go check them out, as well as your other Chicago sports. They have it all there at OnTapSportsNetwork.com.
Continuing with a little roster news, Jeff's favorite player, Miles Mastrobeatty, makes the team at second base and outfield.
I didn't say it.
Amazing. Oh my God, that was.
I've been thinking it. I've been thinking it for like 4 weeks, and I never said it.
You're welcome. I've broken through that wall for you, Jeff. For you. Michael Rucker gets to stay in the pen. That was kind of a nice little addition. What do you guys think of that?
See, last year I went through love-hate with Rucker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. He has good stuff. It's putting it together. He's still young, so yeah, I'm all for it. Let's see what he can do at the beginning of the year. Like we've talked about numerous times during this offseason, as the Cubs are stacked in their bullpen. So if he's struggling, it's easy. Let's option him down and bring up Cam Sanders or Estrada or the 10 other guys that we have down in the minor league. So I'm all right with it because he does have good stuff.
Christopher Morel is going to be starting out at AAA Iowa, which I'm excited about because I get to see him. However, I think this says a little bit about what the Cubs plan for him going forward with a little bit of development.
And I think Morel's known this for a while, like for the last week or so, and he's trying to tell the Cubs to shove it because he's been raking the last week. I think he has 2 bombs, putting the ball in play. Like he does have to cut down on his strikeouts, and so hopefully this will allow him to be able to work on just some contact. And I mean, gets to go down there and play with Brandon Davis, so good spot for him to be in.
I think a lot of fans are upset, and I think it goes back to I know I talked about it last week, but just to finalize the point, this is good. it's objectively good because Morel is he 24 now? Has he turned 24 or is he still 23? Regardless, he's super young. He's got a lot of talent and energy and enthusiasm for the game. We want him playing every day. And clearly at the major league level, with the way that the roster is shaken out, he will not be playing every day.
Yep,
the importance of him playing it, he's 23. Okay. The importance of him playing every day is the biggest hole in his offensive game is his strikeout numbers. I mean, they're Javi Baez-esque, and he's not as good a player as Javi either. So he really needs to cut that down to become an effective player long term. And we saw it last season. Like he fell off very quickly. He had a really rough second half. I think August was especially bad. So sending him down gives him a chance to play every day, get every day at bats, and really work on his approach at the plate so that when he comes back up, it's to stay. Like that's it, there's no him coming up, playing sporadically, not playing well to start the season, and then getting sent down. Instead, he gets to build his confidence and hopefully really work on his approach and prove the front office wrong, that he should have been up from day one. So I think that fans will forget about it relatively quickly once the season starts. And then when he does get the call back up, everybody's going to be excited.
Yep.
So it gives you something to look forward to besides Seiya coming back.
You know what's going through my head right now? That scene from Major League where they put the red tag in Ricky Vaughn's locker and he gets pissed and he throws the baseball in the manager's office. That's kind of what's going through my head right now.
Right. I like it. On Tap Sportsnet commented on our next little bit. Zach McKinstry traded to the Tigers for converted starting pitcher Carlos Guzman, who made it as high as Double-A last year. Mitch, what do you think?
Well, Jake was right. McKinstry could possibly be starting at third base, but just for the Tigers and for the Cubs. So chalk one up to Jake getting it right. Early offseason prediction for the season. I mean, like we've said, like we liked what McKinstry had to offer, but it just wasn't panning out. And last year he struggled. He ended the season with like a hot stretch the last 3 weeks, but then we wanted to see him start off hot in spring training, and it just wasn't there. The last couple games in spring training he did all right, but still he didn't have a spot to fit in this lineup. And best of wishes to him. I mean, it frees up a little bit more playing time for Christopher Morel if he does get called back up, or so we can really see what we have in Madrigal. I think it gives us some options there as well, where Madrigal can kind of move around. But we don't really have anybody to play at shortstop if Dansby takes a day off, which he won't. But that means that Madrigal is going to have to fill in at second base. Because I don't know how many times we want Master Boney filling in. So, I mean, I like it. I like he needs to go where he can play, and he wasn't going to be playing for the Cubs. So and it frees up a 40-man roster spot.
Right. The only thing I thought of,
sorry.
Oh, good.
I have some buddies that are Tigers fans. I don't know if they listen, but like we've talked about, Colt Keith is a third base prospect and their top hitting prospect right now. So McKinstry could very well be going to the Tigers to block someone really good at third base, the same way that he could have been blocking someone. Of course, Morel still ended up in AAA to start the season, but he could have been blocking Morel, like just another roadblock for Morel. So I also made a joke that the Cubs just send all of their Zachs to Detroit. Sure, right? McKinstry are going to be teammates now.
Yep.
Better not take away from Short's time.
Right? I am nervous, dude. I think he is. I bet he's going to.
That's too bad. Something I thought about this trade was really like if you think back, more or less we traded Chris Martin for Guzman. I scrolled too far. Sorry, Carlos Guzman, which is kind of a weird it's unfortunate, but you can't tell the future when you're making trades. So
yeah, I mean, and we rolled the dice with McKinstry. It was a good
Mhm.
trade at the time. Like,
Right.
try to get some upside guy that was maybe struggling in that organization. So yeah, but that's all the moves that we've had the last week. We're caught up, boys. It is opening week. I am pumped.
You calling
I
in sick
can't wait
on
for Thursday. What?
Is opening day Thursday? Or is it
Thursday.
Friday?
it is.
Yeah,
It
what
is
are you
indeed.
calling in sick already?
No, I have made it baseball day at my school, and so
Okay.
everybody can wear baseball jerseys. And my kids have even my daughter's already put it on her Google Calendar at 1:20 the Cubs play, and she's asked for a note that I'm going to write. I'm going to write her a note to her teacher that she can come down to my room and watch the Cubs game. And so yeah, we're gonna have the Cubs game on in my room, and if my principal's listening, now you know. So yeah, we're just gonna watch it. Get youngins involved in baseball, get them loving the game.
Nice.
But we have a fun episode. We have a fun episode today. Today is our prediction episode. We're gonna be making all sorts of predictions on the season. We're gonna start off with most Ks in a game this season and by who. And I'm going to put my prediction shades on. We're going to get locked in for our predictions because I'm going to nail these this year. All right.
I'm gonna take a sip of my toppling Goliath pseudo Sue.
Oh,
And then Kevin, you're
nice
going to lead us
plug.
off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, try not to pull a hamstring, would you, kid?
Right. All right. Most Ks in a game. I'm going with Justin Steele. I think he's got it. He's got steel in his veins. He tied his career high a couple times last year at 10. I think he's getting 11 this year. He's going to get one more. He's going to get over that hump. He's going to get to the double ones. I love it. He's going to strut around the mound. He's going to see Wisniewski out there doing it and then pick it up.
Jeffrey, who do you got?
When I was making this list, I took a big deep breath to relax and calm my nerves. And caught this aroma that made me think of an old deodorant called Swagger. And we got one guy that was just named the 5th starter who's got all sorts of swagger and a low pulse. I'm going with Hayden Wisniewski.
How many is he going to get? How many is he going to get?
12.
12.
Ooh.
That's going to be the high. Okay. Jake, who you got?
Well, Jeffrey, I don't mean to one-up you, but I'm going with 13 strikeouts by a guy who's supposedly learning a thing or two from Wisniewski and the rest of the Cubs pitching infrastructure. I'm going 13 by Jamison Tyone. He's apparently starting to work in this sweeper. He's looked nasty, like super sick in spring. And it's been talked about before the Cubs acquired him that he just needed that one more pitch. He was just one pitch away from a full-on breakout. And he had a good, healthy season last year. Now he's got health in his favor, knock on wood, and a new sweeper. I'm taking Tyone with 13 Ks. I also think that he's going to be able to give you the length in the game to get to 13 strikeouts, and that's just as important.
You need a shawl there, Grandpa.
Yeah, it was getting a little cold down here in the basement.
Jesus Christ.
I am going to agree with Jeffrey. It's going to be Hayden Wisniewski. But I am saying old Aramis Ramirez number 16 is the number that Wisniewski's going to get. He's going to have a breakout game, and we're going to be seeing the strut off the mound a ton of times with the Ks. Jake is going to have to break out all those K signs from back in the day. Like he says, he's going to bring back to Wrigley Field and be holding them in the stands as Wisniewski gets on a roll and starts K'ing some guys. Yeah, that's my pick.
Love it.
Speaking of the K signs, Jake, did you have new ones made? Or
yeah, we've got some corrugated boards made, so they're more durable. They're
so when you swing them at somebody, they're going to make. So when you swing it at somebody, it's going to do some damage. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I'm not going to swing it at anybody, and if somebody else swings it at somebody, look, there's no fight in the bleachers, Jeff.
No fighting in the bleachers. Jeff,
That's horseshit.
if you ever gave one of your tickets that you have to Jeff, one of your bleacher tickets, I guarantee he would try to fight in the bleachers. And cup snakes. He would try to do cup snakes as well.
Jeff's blacklisted from buying my tickets.
All right, we're gonna skip down. It's gonna be a Nick Madrigal season this year, guys. We're almost bordering a Nick Madrigal fan podcast. Games started by Nick Madrigal at third base. What's your prediction? Ready, go, Jake. Jake, go.
Sorry,
Is
just
there
say me. My
fucking-
internet's crapping out right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
okay.
I was wondering if there's the
My
delay.
internet, yeah. We have. No,
Let me guess.
Your
cat chewed on the cable?
Podcast. Yeah, on the Wi-Fi cable, the wireless cable. I'm going 27 games for Madrigal. For reference, I believe Patrick Wisdom started 103 at third, so 27 is not a lot. I don't know. I don't know if Madrigal's going to get the run that I hope he gets this year, whether it's at third base or otherwise. I think that he could be. I didn't even put this in my predictions, but now that I'm thinking about it, he might be traded if he gets off to a decent start. And injuries for another team could happen, and it makes sense. And Madrigal goes. So I'm saying 27 games at third.
You doing all right, Jeffrey? You're burping some good old stuff.
Everything's processing. We're processing nicely. It's fine.
I am gonna say, just like Jordan making his comeback in 1995, he's gonna get 45 because he's gonna be coming back in Jordan's number 45. 45 starts.
See, I went
Kevin.
the other way with that.
Oh, okay, go. What do you think?
I went with 23.
23. Oh. Okay. I like it. We're on the same. We're connected.
Not only is it Jordan's original number and the number he wore the most, but it's also Rhino's number.
Yep.
So,
do you know what other number Jordan wore in his career? He wore it one time.
Really? Was it in the 50s?
Nope. 12. Because they forgot his jersey or
really
something happened to it and he wore 12 for one.
See,
game.
I thought you were going to tell me maybe say number 9 when he was in the Olympics.
Oh, yeah. Kevin, how many starts?
Well, this is what's really funny. I also had 23.
Woo!
I was thinking, I thought I'd be the Debbie Downer of the moment here and say I don't think it's going to get that much run because I don't think it's going to stick around.
I think the three of us fell asleep watching commercials and we all heard the 23 and me, and it stuck in our heads.
All right.
Oh.
Well, let's go to the name of our podcast is Dingers. We got to jump right to most dingers this season. We need a name and a number. Name and number. Most dingers. Kevin, we'll start with you and wrap back around.
Gotcha. I'm going
wrap
Wisdom.
around.
I'm going Patrick Wisdom. I think it's a Patrick Wisdom make it or break it season. I think if he makes it, he's going to go on some tears, and I think he's going to come up with 33.
Woo! 33,
Yeah.
I like it. And
if I'm going to go Wisdom, you got to bet all in.
Yeah, push those chips all in.
That was not a wise
if you're
pick at all.
watching on YouTube or following us on the live stream, get in the chat and we want to hear what your numbers. So share your predictions as we go through these. We want to hear yours and we'll throw them on the podcast as well. So 33, that's a lot of dingers. I mean, I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take those dingers. It'll help our dinger picks a lot if a lot of these guys hit more dingers this year. Jeffrey, what do you got?
I'm going with a former MVP who's getting a fresh start in a fresh city with new teammates. Going in Cody Bellinger, and I'm going with 35.
Okay.
Jake. You wait.
In honor of our friend Ian Mahan, I wore his shirt, his merch tonight. I believe the R is for Rockford, and we got a Cub pitching. It's a running joke, as we talked about last week, that we poke fun at Ian, or we always apologize to Ian for crapping on Patrick Wisdom. But I am also taking Patrick Wisdom. He is the boomstick in the lineup. I'm taking 29. I think Wisdom's had a good spring, and I really hope it translates. He's going to get playing time in right field and third base, probably some first base, obviously DH as well. So he's going to get the ABs, and I'm saying 29 from Wiz.
All right. I'm picking my new favorite player on the Chicago Cubs.
Mr. Boney?
Nope. Favorite name. That's the favorite name of a player on the Cubs.
Oh.
But he has had a high of 35 home runs once in his career. I'm going with Trey Mancini.
Oh, boom, boom.
Boom, boom. He's going to play all over the field. He's going to be playing some right early this year because Seiya's gone. He can move into the DH. He can slide over to first. He's going to be in the lineup every day. And we're going to fall in love with Trey Mancini, his leadership, the way he enjoys playing baseball. And I'm going to say he's going to get 34 home runs, one more than Patrick Wisdom at 33.
Oh, nice. You think if Mancini is the top one, we can get another Mankini
Yes, from
appearance?
Yep.
Hey, shout out to Ron Luce. It is his birthday.
Yes.
Happy
birthday,
to
Ron.
Happy birthday.
I'm glad you brought that up, Kevin.
You're welcome.
All right.
And I can't wait to see him in a Mankini in the bleachers. It's going to be incredible.
That's right. Let's go.
Yes,
Let's go.
yes.
There's some images that just can't be burned out of your head with all the tequila.
I'm pretty sure it
I've
guarantees you when Trey Mancini hits a dinger that he will catch the home run ball if he wears a Mankini in the bleachers. So Ron Lewis, do it up. Do it big. All right, let's move on. Most saved by a Cubs player. Who you got? Let's start back with Jake.
I am going with Michael Fulmer. He is the shoe-in to close to start the season. So I'll take 17 saves from Fulmer. I believe he's projected for about 13, and the projections don't like the Cubs record to be good. I think the Cubs are going to be a winning team just by a little bit. We'll get into that. So I think Fulmer will get the majority of the saves pre-deadline. 17.
You said 17 saves?
Yep.
1-7.
Okay.
Chris
Mark
Bryant.
Grace.
Boom. Both of them. All right, Jeffrey, who do you got and how many?
Well, I also picked Michael Fulmer to roll goose eggs in the 9th. And I'm going to go with a nice, modest 15.
Ooh. Kevin?
See, and I also went Michael Fulmer, but with this team so based on defense in a lot of ways, I think he's going to get more save opportunities than maybe they have had in the past. And so I'm going a solid double dose of 22.
So I am going Michael Fulmer, and it's going to be 12, but just because he's going to get the majority of them early on, and then at the deadline, we're going to trade him, and then it's going to turn over to Estrada and Sanders, and we're going to them two are going to fight it out, and so they'll kind of fight for it, but they'll both end with like 10 or 11, but Fulmer will end up being the player with the most with 12. All right. Double plays turned by Dansby and Nico. How many?
I got this.
Double
I'll
plays
start.
will they turn? Okay.
A
Jake.
lot. Yeah.
Nice.
No,
Nice.
we need a number.
A lot. And they're going to turn a lot because we have the shift rules, no shift rules, so it'll be easier to turn, assuming the ball's hit in the right spot, but no heavily weighted side of the infield. And we got ground ball pitchers in this rotation. I have no idea what like a good amount of double plays turned by a team is in a season.
Just say a number.
That's why I'm just saying a
Say
lot.
Say it.
We got 162 games. I'm going to say 82. I don't know.
82.
That's one every
That seems
other
like
game.
not enough, but
I don't know. I don't think so. That's just one every other game, man.
yeah, but then you can also have the third baseman start the double play, the pitcher start the double play, the first baseman start the double play. So then they're not both.
I understand.
So we don't even know how we're
going
going to be able to quantify this at the end of the season.
There's a stat for everything. They
Okay.
will. There somebody's keeping track.
So there is.
I will keep track. I will mark it down. I'll start
No.
a tally.
We can put Eric on it too.
Yes, that's
He
what
doesn't
we'll
miss
do.
nothing. Anyway, here's how I figured out the number.
Okay.
So Swanson wears 7, Hoerner wears 2. That's 72. 2 divided by the 2 is 36. 36 double plays. That's what's happening.
Scott says 42. Scott,
That's way too
Nice
high.
job there, Rain Man.
I like it. Don't involve
So
math in this. Get math out of here.
I Googled like most or double plays last season, and the Cardinals
Kevin
were the
actually
most.
did homework.
Yeah, Cardinals were the most, and it was like 180 or something like that.
By the same
Team-
duo?
No, team double plays.
That's not
So
going to
then
answer the question.
I'm getting there. Let me tell my story,
Today,
Jeffrey. So I lost my train of thought, so I'm gonna go kind of catch it. Okay, so then I got to thinking, where would it come from? How many double plays would you actually get from these two players? There's gonna be some spot starts from some other folks. Went back, ground ball pitching crew. I'm gonna go with a 92. That's where I
Ooh.
landed.
All right. Well, I got a story too. So
I think a couple of you guys went to a dispensary before we started recording.
in 1908, the Cubs were playing the Giants in a late September game. The Giants were up to bat and had runners on first and third. The batter for the Giants hit one in the gap, scoring the guy from third, which would have been the winning run. But the guy from first never ran to second base. The ball got thrown in to Tinkers at shortstop, and Chance was over at second calling for the ball, and they threw it in, and they got the force out at second base. The guy from first argued that it was not the actual game ball because he saw the game ball got thrown into the stands, into the bleacher seats at Wrigley Field, and that what really got thrown out was a ball from the Cubs dugout. But Chance argued that it was the actual game ball, and the game actually ended in a tie. Well, it turns out at the end of the season, the Cubs and the Giants ended the season with the same record and had to play a game, and the Cubs won, and then they went on to win the World Series. Roundabout story that the best double play combo the Cubs have had has been Tinkers to Evers to Chance. And they, in one season, had 54 double plays turned. That's the most. So I am going to say that they're going to get 82 double plays turned, and they're going to be ranked second, right ahead of Sandberg and Dunston as the best double play combo in Cubs history.
I like
Okay, so my 82 wasn't that dumb.
No,
I
right
have
there,
no idea.
right there.
It had, unbeknownst to me, it had an incredible backstory.
Yeah,
Well
that's
done.
actually a true story, by the way. It's actually
It is.
a true story.
He sent it to me on
believe
Saturday.
it.
So there you go. All right, since we're talking defense, Gold Gloves by Cubs players at the end of the year and who wins them. Let's start with Kevin.
Alrighty. I'm thinking 3. I think we got Nico, Swanson, and Hap.
Okay.
Those are my 3.
All right, Jeffrey.
I went with the number 2, and
Thanks, Joey. Thanks, Joey.
I'm going with Hap to go back to back, and then I'm going to go with Marcus Stroman.
Oh,
Yep.
I like that.
Okay.
Hey, pitchers catch the ball too, jackasses.
I
All right.
mean,
Jake.
I'm gonna go with 2. I'm gonna go with that double play combo. I think Nico is a shoo-in. He could have won at shortstop last year. I think he's going to win at second base this year. And I think Dansby, new contract. I think he's really going to want to prove that the defense is legit. I think maybe he goes through some offensive struggles, but at least he can prove like, hey, I can be your dude at shortstop. Like, don't worry, I've got that. So that leads to a back-to-back Gold Gloves for Dansby. Mitch?
I'm going 5.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
We're gonna go.
That's a lot of gold.
We're best defense in the league. So
Do you know how hard it is to take you seriously when you look like Macho Man Randy Savage? Jesus Christ.
all right, we got Hap. You guys forgetting Cody Bellinger is going to go out there and just go get balls out in center field. And then we have Dansby and Nico. There's 4. And then I was with you. I had Stroman winning Gold Glove from the pitcher's mound. There's my 5.
Interesting.
We're going to have a better defense. I know I listened to Talking Baseball. I heard them all loving on the Cardinals being the best defense in infield in baseball. No, Cubs got that.
Hey, if you're speaking of Talking Baseball, if you're listening to this and you have a Twitter account, tweet at Trevor Plouffe.
Yes.
I think it's at Coach Plouffe, Plouffe, and say, hey, you're a Cubs fan. You said you're a Cubs fan. When are you joining the Dingers podcast? Because he said he would do it, and now he's ghosting us. So
let him be a man of his word.
He's big leaguing us.
He is.
Cubs fans don't do that to Cubs fans.
No. Respect. All right. First player to be DFA'd by the Cubs.
Oh.
This is going to be consensus. I think it's going to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, especially with some changes in the last day.
Kevin, go.
So originally I had
Okay,
3
just wait.
people
Stop.
here.
Timeout.
Okay.
Timeout. 20-second. Okay. I put these sunglasses and this helmet on pre-show, and I made a John Olerud comment to Jake that I look like John Olerud, and Joey in the comments, John Olerud vibes from the helmet and the shades. Thank you, Joey. Okay, sorry.
Oh, you're good. You're good because
Back to you.
it gave Scott the time to comment in with the correct answer, which is Eric Hosmer.
Oh.
He's gone.
I think he spelled it Hosmer.
Hosmer. Yeah, Hosmer's getting hosed.
Hosmer.
I don't know, Scott. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but it works.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm adding it to my nickname list.
Okay, so you're saying
Yeah, we all 4 picked Hosmer because there's going to be people with way hotter bats in the lineup.
Yeah, unanimous.
okay. Yep. So Hosmer. All right. Let's go with lowest ERA.
Oh, Jesus. See, you're jumping all over the place. I got to
Sorry.
find these questions because I retyped the questions.
See, and I just
Kevin.
wrote it on little slippies of paper.
Kevin.
Me?
Yep.
Since we didn't put a innings pitched minimum up there,
Ooh.
I'm going Jeremiah Estrada for
Okay.
lowest ERA.
Okay.
Well, that's horse shit. I just assumed we all knew it was going to be a starter.
Well, I mean, hey, he could get blown up. He could come out very first game and give up like 4 in 1 inning, and then he's
Yeah.
like,
And your ERA
Didn't
never
John
comes
at that
back
game
down.
we went to in Milwaukee that he came into the game with like a 3.50 ERA, and by the time he left, it was an 18.55, and he only got 1 out.
yeah. All right, Jeff, who is your lowest ERA?
I'm sticking with the dude with the low pulse and the swagger. I'm going to Hayden Wesnisty.
Okay.
Hayden Winnipesaukee.
Winnipesaukee. For you Wisconsin fans out there. All right, Jake.
I'm going with Justin Steele with a very nice 3.69 ERA.
Okay.
It's with a 6.9 perv.
I
all
am
in.
going.
3.69. 3 is a magic number, Jeff.
I'm going with Jamison Tyone. Jamison Tyone is going to
Who
get.
lives next to the tracks?
Sorry.
Jesus.
Rough side. All right, let's move on to what else do we have?
See, you should be marking these off.
Most stolen bases.
Okay. Gotcha. I can also help you because I've been crossing them off as we go. If you get lost.
Okay. Most stolen bases. Jake, let's start with you. Most stolen bases. Remember, we have bigger bases this year.
The pizza
It's
boxes.
gonna be Nico Hoerner with 20. I'm gonna say around 20 stolen bases for Nico.
Ooh.
Batting
Okay,
leadoff.
that's exactly
dude's
what I
got
picked too.
wheels. Yeah.
I picked Nico Hoerner with 20.
You picked a short guy?
If Realmuto can get 22 last year from the catching position, Nico is this year should at least get 20.
It's going to be really interesting. I think this is a hard one to predict this season.
It is. It's going to be interesting to see all the numbers from last year. Like, 'cause I looked at like most stolen bases, and I was like, okay, like that's pretty low.
I do think Nico to lead the team is like the safest bet, though. I can't think of anybody else on this team that's going to run more.
But like
Scott says those are rookie numbers. You got to bump those up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we might be way undershooting, and it might be like in the 30s. We might get back to like 80s numbers where everybody's getting like.
All right. So if we had Javi Baez from 2015 or 2016, would you guys say like 60 with these bases?
I would still say like mid 30s. I'd say
Really?
like mid 30s somewhere.
Yeah.
I think you're
There's just
underestimating the swim move.
There's just
He
not
had
that
one of
many
the World Baseball
opportunities.
Classic again.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
But I really think we're gonna get back where like in the 80s, like late 80s, like managers just stole a lot. They did a lot of hit and runs, and like people swung over it. They still were trying to steal bases, and those numbers were up. So I could see us getting where.
That's one record in this game that's not ever going to be touched. Is Ricky Henderson's stolen base record?
Not even close.
Yeah. I'd love to see somebody go for it though.
I'm going with the tall, lanky dude that's playing center field, Cody Bellinger. I'm going to tab him from 28.
Holy smokes.
Okay.
He's
See, and I
taller,
went-
less strides, bigger bases. Got to cover way less ground.
Nice.
Facts.
See, and I went the other way. I think they've been stealing so much in spring training that it's gonna actually go down quite a bit when they get to the games. But I think it's Nico. But I think it's only 12. I think for some reason that gets tamped down.
Scott says Nico gets a stolen base for every $1 million he signs for 35. Love it.
That's good.
All right. This one is for Jake. Most WAR by a minor leaguer that does not start on the opening day roster. So Jake, you start.
All right. So when I posed this question to Mitch the other day,
I was hoping it wouldn't make the list.
Well, hey, it's I love the minor leagues. I cheated. I cheated here because I picked a guy who's already debuted, and it's going to be Morel. I think Morel. Listen, I have been down on Morel, but I'm realistic. If you guys know anything about me, so I am a realistic Cubs fan. Despite some of my tweets, when I get responses in the tweets that I did about like Seiya, basically recruiting the entire Japanese national team. I had so many people in my replies saying like, "Oh, another delusional Cubs fan." It's like, obviously you have no idea who I am.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, I can be biggest nerd question ever. Scott says about this one. Scott, we got to believe in the young guys, man. And I think that it's going to be Morel. I think he's going to come up and post about a 1 WAR. I said 1.1 WAR on the season. Whether it be injury or his performance or the DFA of Hosmer, he's going to come up, he's going to play, and he's going to contribute to this winning team.
All right, Kevin, let's hear it.
So I went with Matt Mervis, also with 1.1 WAR. Also after an Eric Hosmer DFA because he's just scorching hot down at Iowa.
I like that pick. I'm going to go with Jeremiah Estrada because he's going to come out and work right into the closer's position, and he's going to be lights out and closing things down and come up to be huge for the Cubs, and he's going to earn himself a high WAR. Jeff, do we just
Yes.
pass you because you don't even know what WAR stands for?
No.
Or
Got it. All right. Here's who I went with. I went with who gives a shit. It's a nerd category for unathletic CPAs to seem relevant in the game of baseball.
Jeff, who in this group is the one that's still playing baseball? Don't call me an unathletic nerd here. Okay, an unathletic CPA.
Anybody can throw a ball across the plate. Look at Al Harris. Look how long he hung it. Jesus.
I'll strike you out, Jeff.
I'll step into it and just walk down to first base.
do you got one for us or no?
No, I didn't fill out that question. We're grading on a curve here.
I want to give a quick shout out to the baseball and whatever crew in the comments here. They're saying my positivity is contagious. Thank you, boys. And they say go Cubbies. I've joined them. Mitch, have you joined them on the podcast?
No, have not. Would love to be on baseball and whatever. They're
I've been
great.
on twice, and those guys have a lot of fun. So shout out to
they
them.
had a 90s music thing that I was like, okay, I can get down with some
nice.
90s music.
Yeah,
Classic.
They do their top fives. They They do pop culture and baseball talk.
Nice.
Nice.
Most innings pitched by a Cubs player or a Cubs pitcher. Let's start with Jake.
I am taking Jameson Taillon with 172 innings pitched. You know, there's a mute mic or a mute button if you have to burp. You can mute yourself.
Who burped? Who burped? Hey, why don't you close the window so we can't hear the trains?
Hey, unfortunately, the windows are closed.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Do you know what innings pitched there is, Jeffrey?
Yes, I do. That's
IP.
It's a total of how many times did he get 3 outs?
All right, well, who's gonna have the most of those this season?
I went with the dude whose name reminds me of like tying one on, Jameson Taillon. And I think what do you say, 172?
Hey, I also took Jameson Taillon.
Yeah, did you say 172?
Yes.
You said? Yeah, I'm 172 and a third.
Oh.
That's because he got
that.
one more out.
Okay.
All right. I like what Scott said. That's not who I picked, but Justin Balls of Steel, 200 plus. I went with Stroman at 169.
I'd like to welcome
nice.
Dr. Evil to the show.
My cat is begging to come up here.
I'm gonna go with
We're
Jameson.
off the rails tonight, boys.
I'm gonna go with Jameson
Yes, we are.
Taillon. So last year, I think he had 181. I think we're gonna see him jump up to 192.
Ooh.
There we go. If Adam Wainwright can get up to 191, Jameson Taillon should be able to get in the 190s.
Not this year.
I think they're giving Wainwright a bunch of cortisone shots.
Yep.
Like his arm's going to be jello.
All right. Did we cover them all besides the overall record?
No,
No, we
haven't done-
debuts.
Yeah. Debuts, trades before
Oh.
deadline,
Ooh.
most multi-hit dinger games.
Okay, let's
Home
go
runs
with
by
number
Nico.
of Cubs debuts.
Ugh, this was hard.
7 chipmunks twirling on a branch, eating sunflower seeds on my uncle's ranch. 7.
Kevin.
I went with 5. But really, I had a hard time because I was like, what do you consider, like, I don't know, that, like,
Well, it's when they get called up to the big team and they're in the dugout and then they go into the game. That's
Yeah,
a debut.
yeah. Oh, nice.
It's a debut. You can understand war, but you don't know what a debut is.
Well, more, I was trying to like picture who would be coming up and filling what roles, but that would mean who was gone to leave those roles open. I don't know. It was a mess. I went 5.
We got to think
Seemed
about
rough.
injuries and stuff.
Yeah,
Not
but
like
last
people are
year the
leaving.
Cubs, like, did they tie a record or set a record and it was like 11 or something?
They had 17 last
17.
year.
17,
It's
yeah.
tough because they have like Christopher Morel, they have Nelson Velasquez, they have guys that like have already made their debut.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremiah Stroud, they've already made their debut. They're back in the minors. They'll probably get called up, so it makes it a little bit hard. I feel you.
Yep.
Jake, what do you got?
9.
Woo!
I didn't go in and look at like who specifically was
9
going to make
times.
debuts, but yeah, 9.
Bueller.
All right, I'm gonna go with 7. 7. Yep. All right, Jeffrey, did you make yours?
I said 7.
Okay, we're on the
And
same.
then-
Boom.
And then I did a little rhyme.
Oh yeah, you did. The 7 little chipmunks.
Yeah, twirling
say-
on a branch,
There
eating
you go.
sunflower seeds on my uncle's ranch. 7.
All right.
We're punchy.
Okay, what other one did we have?
Everybody's so excited to listen to us this season.
Right?
You listen to this like we're not going to listen to these goons. What the hell is this?
Trades before the deadline.
Trades before the deadline.
Yeah.
Ugh.
We will give. I will give a little bit. Like this is our fun episode right before the season. We're giddy.
No,
we're ready to
we're
go.
having a good time.
Yeah. So trades before the deadline.
I went with 2. We're going to give up some people that we're kind of excited to see watch, and we're going to get a couple of schmoes that are going to be free agents at the end of the season. That's what we're doing here.
Okay, Kevin.
Oh, we're buying.
Oh, that
Jeff
was
thinks
interesting.
we're
Okay.
buying.
Yeah.
We're buying.
I struggled with this one. I wrote 2 to 3.
Do you not know what a trade is?
I do know what a trade is, but I had no idea would we be buying or selling, and who would we be selling if we were selling, and who would we be buying if we were buying, and who it was a mess. I'm gonna say 2. Going 2.
2. I'm gonna say like 3. There's gonna be like a minor league guy that will trade. That maybe is like bounced back and forth, maybe like a Michael Rucker that was struggling a little bit, that one of those bullpen arms that was kind of bouncing around that will trade just to try to like trade somebody that needs just a different change of scenery. And then we're going to trade Michael Fulmer because we're going to go out and get ourselves a third baseman there. Ian, we're going to get ourselves a third baseman for Ian because we need a third baseman. And then
Hey,
I don't know.
I'm saying 1. I'm saying 1 because I don't think we're gonna like buy or sell. I think it's going to be we're going to trade Fulmer because we have bullpen arms like Cam Sanders and Jeremiah Estrada who are ready to come up and take the closer role.
I have one more trade that I'm going to explain, and this one's going to be a doozy. The Cubs are going to trade, you heard it here first, for Shohei Ohtani because the Angels are not willing to extend him. So at the deadline, Cubs are going to trade Christopher Morel, Patrick Wisdom. They're going to trade Adrian Sampson and another, I'm going to say DJ Hers.
Ooh.
And maybe one more minor league top 15 prospect, and they're going to get Shohei.
I'd like to return my order. I don't want to. No.
I mean, you got to take big cuts.
It's true.
This
This is a prediction episode. Because if I get this right, we're going to go back and I'm going to like post this everywhere. You know it. I'm everywhere that I called it.
Yep. I feel, yeah. No.
So, how much of the gummy bear did you eat? Because if you're new, you're supposed to eat like a leg, not like the whole thing.
All right. Let's end with overall record. Brian, thanks. He's gonna clip it for us.
Nice.
All right. Overall record. Ready, Kevin? Go.
Ooh. So I went with 84 wins. I was thinking they're gonna be over 500. They're gonna surprise some folks. I was looking at what were the wild card win totals this past year because I think they might just barely squeak in.
How many was it again?
That's 84.
84. Okay. All right, Jeff.
I'm going 86 wins. Definitely 86.
Okay, Jake.
Okay, Rain.
83.
Okay.
83 and 79.
All right, back in 1989, when I was just 6 years old, my local bank held just like, hear me out. They held a secret contest where they decided the 89th person into the bank that day walked through the door would win $100. And I was that 89th person.
Nice.
So the
Did
Cubs-
you just keep going in and out?
89 is the lucky number that the Cubs are going to have. They're going to win 89 and 73. Mark it down. They're going to make the playoffs. 89.
I love it.
It's so hard to take you seriously with this glasses on.
I like it. You should do every episode.
We got a really bold prediction from Scott with 94 wins, NL Central champs, and Wisniewski starts game 1 of the playoffs. I think if we make the playoffs, Wisniewski is starting game 1 for sure.
Yep.
Although I do think that Stroman's going to have a really good year as well.
Yep. It's his payoff year, potentially.
Potentially, yeah. But 94 that would be something. Cody Bellinger would be MVP level. Seiya Suzuki would be an all-star. Ian Happ would be an all-star. Miguel Amaya's coming up hitting bombs. Like, there's a lot of shit that's gonna happen. I love the optimism, Scott. I hope we can get there. That would be a lot more fun to watch than the last couple seasons.
Mervis joins the big league club May 1st. Just
I'd
goes
be
on
able
a
to sell my
tear.
tickets for a little bit more money too. So
There we
I
go.
hope Scott's prediction comes true.
There you go.
Cubs are hot in the streets. Love it.
Love
All
it.
right. Well, that's our prediction episode. We had a lot of fun. Cubs play on Thursday. So exciting. Let's go. Yeah, but
I got a
You
master
can-
bony just thinking about it.
you can watch us live every Monday night if you're listening to us on podcast, all the podcast streams. Every Monday night, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook Live. So come check us out and join the conversation in the chat. We love interacting with you, Cubs fans and listeners. So yeah, come interact with us in the chat. We love it. Make sure you're following us at Dinger Cubs, and make sure you go checking out all of the On Tap Sports Network articles. And if you're not, go follow Cubbies on Tap. They're our buddies, our podcast buddies, part of the On Tap Sports Network crew. And go get yourself some coffee from Connect Roasters, because they make amazing coffee and we're partnered with them. And next week, we'll be announcing the contest giveaway. So if you're part of the Home Run Club and you use code DingersPod, you get 25% off your first order, and you get a chance to enter in. You'll get an email at the beginning of the month. You fill out the little Google form and you enter in to win prizes the whole season long. So the first contest winner will be announced next week on the podcast episode. So next Monday we'll announce it. So make sure you're listening and tuning in for who won. So yeah.
Hey,
Jake.
Also, we have another discount that's coming up. Did we confirm this, Mitch, on the Dingers merch?
Yep.
So we are going to be, since it is the opening week of 2023, we will be hosting a 23% off everything on the Dingers Podcast merch website. I believe it's in our Twitter bio.
Yep.
And
Well, I
tweet
tweeted
that
it out. So yeah, I'll
Yeah.
put it in the bio.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
So yeah, get yourself some Dingers merch, like Kevin's shirt. Mitch has worn the snapback hat. Jeff's got an obvious shirt on tonight. But some good stuff on there. And if there's Dingers merch that you want to see, let us know and we'll get it on there.
Yep. Awesome. Well, thanks for listening to episode 112 of the Dingers Podcast. Go Cubs, and let's go beat those Brewers.
Let's play ball, boys.
Play ball.
Let's do it.
Better up!